Hello everyone, my name is Appleguy, and on October 7th, I attended TwitchCon 2022 in San Diego, California. This was my third TwitchCon, and the second one I've attended that was hosted in the San Diego Convention Center. Today, I'd like to delve into my journey to TwitchCon and recount all the fun I had there. This is my experience at TwitchCon 2022. The trip began with a flight down to San Diego that had my father and I landing around 3 o'clock p.m. After landing and getting off the plane, we took an Uber to the Hilton San Diego and the Gaslamp Quarter. At TwitchCon 2019, we stayed at the Hard Rock Hotel that was located across from the convention center. But due to the issues we had there, we decided to check out a different hotel this time. You can hear all about my TwitchCon 2019 trip in the video linked in the description or in the iCard. Our room was nice, but shaped a little oddly. I was delighted to see that, despite walking in facing away from the convention center, our room had a window that looked almost directly at it. People watching is fun for me, especially knowing it's fellow gamers crossing the road. After settling in, we went across the way to the convention center, but we didn't head directly in. In accordance with the event's COVID protocol, we had to go past the convention center to a tented area around a different Hilton hotel in order to verify our vaccination status. They gave us a black wristband that we had to keep on for the event, which didn't seem like too big of a deal at first. But when they said the whole event, they really meant it. For the whole time I was in San Diego, I had this wristband on. While I was eating, walking, sleeping, and more, the wristband was on. It became quite the nuisance. Upon receiving our plastic shackles for the event, we walked back to the convention center and entered the badge pickup line. I was expecting a super long line inside the building, but it was actually quite empty. The majority of the time spent in badge pickup was walking through a maze of line dividers before reaching the tables and claiming our badges. Also given inside the badge pickup was a gift bag, which contained a plethora of items of varying levels of usage. Included in the bag were some advertisements, a lanyard, a side pack, a sticker, a few pins, and a cologne sample. Yeah, a bit random. In previous years, the bags have contained mostly Twitch or TwitchCon inspired items, but this year it appeared that the sponsors ran the roost. This was a little bit of a bummer to see, but I wasn't upset for too long, as I realized I don't use my free goodies too often anyway. I was a little upset, however, because the gifts came in a small plastic bag. In previous years, the gifts came in a cinch bag, and having a bag like that is super useful since it fits the event's bag rules. I was especially burdened by not having a handy bag since I carried around a large mousepad for autographs, but I'll have more on that later. After getting ready for tomorrow's convention, my father and I went to the Gaslamp district to eat. Just like last TwitchCon, we had dinner at Nobu. For those who don't know, Nobu is a high-end restaurant specializing in sushi. A few of the dishes we had included the yellowtail jalapeno, the king crab tacos, and the shrimp tempura hand roll, alongside a bunch of other stuff. It was incredibly good and thoroughly enjoyed. I wanted to mention that both TSM Imperial Hall and Diego dined there as well. That doesn't mean anything. I was just so starstruck to watch two Apex Legends legends walk into the restaurant and wanted to share. When dinner concluded, we walked to It's Sugar for some sweet treats, then headed back to the hotel to watch Jeopardy and rest up for the big day tomorrow. The night's sleep was rough, but that was no fault of the hotel. I woke up every few hours, I suppose from excitement. When 8 o'clock came around, I got up, showered, and got ready to visit TwitchCon. The line to get into the convention didn't move until a little after 9, but when the doors did open, it was very smooth to get in. The first thing we did was visit the loot cave to purchase merchandise for the event. There was a lot of brand new stuff that was exclusive to the event, but nothing really caught my eye. That's a lie. Everything caught my eye, but not in a good way. The theme for the convention's souvenirs was a mixture of retro and neon, which aren't things I like wearing. Bright yellow hoodies dominated the convention floor, and I wasn't about to join them. Tucked away in a corner of the loot cave was a pastel collection, which I found much more appealing. I ended up purchasing a light blue hoodie and a pink shirt, both of which I was very happy with, and I finally got a big bag to put my mouse pad in so I didn't have to carry it around with me. After doing some shopping, I headed up to the meet and greet area to chat with some creators. Originally, I wanted to meet XQC, but by the time I got up there, almost every line was filled and overflowing into another area. XQC's line, as well as all the Minecrafters' lines, never accepted new fans. This was a bummer because I had really wanted to meet XQC, but there's always next year. Diverting from my original plan, I entered Kai Cenat's meet and greet line, as he's a creator I admire. I don't watch him regularly, but his meteoric rise to the top of the platform deserves praise, and that's what I set out to do. When I got to the front of his line, he and I chatted for a bit, and I asked him to sign my mousepad. He was a super nice guy, very hype, and I hope I cross paths with him again. He also complimented my dad's attire, which was kind of funny. Once the meet and greet was over, I went back downstairs to check out the expo floor. I tend to wander kind of aimlessly the first time I get onto the floor, skipping over a bunch of stuff, but I do come back and do a more thorough look later on. Something that caught my eye immediately was the Razer booth, as I knew different members of OTK would be hosting mini meet and greets there. NMP LOL was the first one to be at the booth, so I took some time to chat with him, and he also signed my mousepad. We talked about Wrath of the Lich King, the newest expansion in WoW Classic, and it was a good conversation. At this point, my dad and I were hungry, so we left the convention hall to go find some lunch. We knew exactly where we wanted to go, and viewers of my TwitchCon 2019 video will probably be able to guess where it is. Sally's Fish House is a restaurant on the ocean front, and it's a short walk away from the convention center. It was a great restaurant last time my dad and I were in San Diego, so we chose to eat there again. I ate some chicken wings to start off, and their clam chowder is my meal. The chicken was really great. It had some spice coating that looked like tahini, but I don't think it was. The crust was crispy and the chicken was juicy. It definitely is something I'd order again. The clam chowder was good too, but in lieu of bacon, I believe the chef added ham hock, which added a smoky flavor to the soup. It was faint, but there. I prefer my clam chowder without the taste, but it wasn't bad by any means. Refreshed from a fun lunch by the sea, we walked back into the convention center to explore the expo floor again. This adventure around the booths was a little more organized, but I still avoided most activities. I find that as the convention goes on longer, I get more confidence to walk up and interact with the exhibitors. The two cool takeaways from this round of wandering was getting both Jake Lucky and Hungrybox to sign my mousepad. Jake Lucky is an everyman Twitch and gaming news reporter, and Hungrybox is a competitive Super Smash Bros. Player for Team Liquid. I'm a fan of both of them, and it was neat to see them out in the world. Around 1 o'clock, I headed upstairs to the community meetups room of the convention to poke around the horror games community gathering. I had a hunch that horror game YouTuber John Wolf would be there, and sure enough, he was the first person I saw when I walked in. John and I chatted for a bit, and he too signed my mousepad. I didn't stick around the meetup for too much longer than that, as I had accomplished my goal. On my way back downstairs, I saw FaZe Swag and a bunch of other Call of Duty gamers. I got Swag to sign my mousepad and congratulated him on his semi-recent move to YouTube. Seeing YouTube streamers at TwitchCon gives me hope that no matter where people go to livestream, the Twitch community continues to maintain roots. Even though people tend to put YouTubers and Twitch streamers in different categories, there's a lot of overlap in friendships that bridge the gaps, especially these days when it seems a new Twitch streamer is announcing a platform change every few weeks. Bumping into creators from all spaces is delightful to see. It's my third and final time back on the expo floor, and you know what that means. That's right, it's time for me to actually participate. Upon re-entering the expo hall, I saw the Street Fighter 6 booth and lined up to play. I'm not big on fighting games, and I haven't played a modern Street Fighter game in, well, ever, but I really wanted to get my hands on a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller to see what it felt like, and Capcom's booth gave me the perfect opportunity to do that. The reason that I want to hold one of these controllers so badly is because controller companies like Scuf are trending toward the DualSense as their new standards, and I needed to get a rough idea of what one feels like if I were to purchase a custom controller later on. Unsurprisingly, I was bad at Street Fighter 6, going something like 2-6 in the matches I played against my opponent. Again, it wasn't about the game for me, it was about the controller. I was all about the next game I got to play though. Divine Knockout is a third-person battle arena game that was super fun to play. The game is kind of like a team-based version of Smash Bros. With 3D visuals. I played 2 modes, Knockout and King of the Hill, and it was really enjoyable. The only complaint I had was that the camera was a little hard to control, but I'm sure after TwitchCon the developers will hear plenty of feedback from players. I signed up for their creator program, so maybe you'll hear more about the game from me in the near future. Regardless, DKO is definitely a game worth putting on your radar. As a reward for participating at the booth, I got a free t-shirt. Stepping away from the gaming, I did some activities at 2 Amazon Prime booths. The first one was a promotional teaser for Prime Video's new show, The Peripheral. I think it's about mind jumping, but I honestly wasn't paying too close of attention. I was more interested in the fact that the demonstration was in one of those large curved vertical monitors and the chair leaned way back. It was immersive and very comfortable. The main Prime Gaming booth hosted a scavenger hunt that tasked players to wander the hall answering 5 trivia questions at various booths. In order to answer the question, you had to find the booth the trivia directed you to, then scan a hidden QR code which would move you on to the next question. The game was really fun, and not super challenging. The first clue was for DKO, which I was able to answer with my superb knowledge of the game, and didn't at all rely on the fact that my dad saw people scanning the code while I was gaming. The second question's answer was the Crown Channel booth, which I didn't know existed on Twitch. Lost Ark was the third answer, followed by the booth dedicated to the new Lord of the Rings show. and the final answer was one of the booths at the Charity Pavilion. The prize for completing the scavenger hunt was a clear cinch bag with a hat, shirt, and a lanyard. This was an awesome prize. In my mind, it's what the badge pickup gift bag should have been. I'm glad I was able to get some cool stuff at the end of the day. Being thoroughly tired, my dad and I wandered into the Twitch Rivals esports arena to sit for a bit, and our timing coincided with the opening ceremony livestream. Funnily enough, the connection dropped like 3 times, and the crowd erupted into laughter every time it did. After 20 or so minutes of watching, my dad and I decided it was about time to be heading back to the airport to conclude our TwitchCon trip. So we got up and left the convention center for the final time. I didn't get to do everything I wanted, but TwitchCon 2022 was an excellent foray back into the world of conventions after a long hiatus. I had a very enjoyable time exploring the convention and eating the great foods that San Diego had to offer. Everyone I met was nice, and there were some extremely memorable booths that I can't wait to hear more from in the future. That about wraps up this video, ladies and gentlemen, so I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please hit like and subscribe, and tell your friends about my channel if you think they would enjoy it. It means a lot to me when you guys spread my videos around. And I'll catch you guys all back here next time for my next video. Until then, as always, take care.